Scary telling.
I open my eyes and take a deep breath. For the first time in centuries, I am alive. Or, at least, some semblance of it. I look down at my body and see the jagged holes in my feet and hands. Memories flood back to me, memories of being crucified by Roman soldiers, left to die in agony. But that is all in the past now. I feel surprisingly good, pain-free, even. And yet, my foremost sensation is one of hunger. A deep, insatiable hunger that feels like it has been brewing for centuries. I can barely think of anything else. I get to my feet and stretch. My limbs feel surprisingly agile, despite my long period of inactivity. I look around and see that I am in a cave, with nothing but a few rocks for company. I know that I need to find food, and fast. I stumble out of the cave and into the sunlight. It feels strange to be alive again, but I am determined to make the most of it. As I make my way through the countryside, I see a small village in the distance. I decide to head towards it, hoping to find something to eat. As I approach the village, I see the wary looks on the faces of the villagers. They are clearly scared of me, but I am too hungry to care. I approach them and ask for food and shelter. To my surprise, they welcome me with open arms and offer me a meal. As I sit down to eat, I can barely contain my excitement. The smell of the food is overwhelming, and my mouth begins to water. I take a bite and am immediately satisfied. But as I swallow, I realize that I am still hungry. Hungrier than I have ever been before. I try to control myself, but the hunger is too great. As night falls, I can feel my body changing. I become more agile, more powerful. I feel an overwhelming urge to feed, and I know that I cannot resist it. I wait until the villagers are asleep before making my move. I break into one of the homes and find the family sleeping peacefully. I approach the youngest child first, sinking my teeth into her soft flesh. The taste is divine, like nothing I have ever experienced before. I continue to feast, moving on to the parents and the other children. As I make my way through the village, I leave behind a trail of bloody bones and torn clothes. The villagers are horrified, but they are no match for my newfound strength. I am unstoppable. By the time the sun rises, the village is decimated. I have satisfied my hunger, at least for the time being. But I know that this is only the beginning. There is a hunger within me that will never be satiated. And so, I set out into the countryside in search of my next meal. The sun sets on the quiet village, and the villagers settle in for the night. I am still roaming the countryside, searching for my next meal. But as I approach the outskirts of the village, I can sense the fear in the air. The villagers are aware of my presence, and they are ready for me. I can see the torches and hear the clanging of weapons as the villagers gather together, preparing to fight. But I am not afraid. I am more powerful than I have ever been before, and I know that I can take them on. I approach the village, and the villagers come at me with their weapons drawn. But I am too fast for them. I dodge their blows with ease, sinking my teeth into their flesh whenever I get the chance. The taste of their blood is intoxicating, and I cannot get enough. As I move through the village, I leave behind a trail of destruction. The villagers are no match for me, and soon they begin to flee in terror. But I am not satisfied. I need more flesh. I break into the homes of the villagers and feast on their flesh, tearing off limbs and biting into their soft flesh. The screams of the villagers are music to my ears, and I revel in the chaos and destruction that I am causing. But as the night wears on, I can sense that something is different. The villagers are beginning to fight back. They have organized themselves and are now coming at me with a new level of determination. I fight back, tearing off limbs and biting into flesh. But the villagers are stronger than I had imagined. They manage to wound me, and I feel my body beginning to weaken. But even as I feel my strength ebbing away, I cannot stop myself. I continue to fight, biting and clawing at anything that comes near me. As the sun begins to rise, I realize that the villagers have won. They have managed to drive me away, at least for the time being. But I know that this is only a temporary setback. The hunger within me is too great, and I know that I will return. I retreat back into the countryside, nursing my wounds and biding my time. The hunger within me is still strong, but I know that I cannot simply attack the villagers again. They are stronger and more organized than I had anticipated, and I need to come up with a new plan. As I roam the countryside, I see the villagers organizing themselves. They are arming themselves with weapons and preparing for my next attack. But I am not afraid. I know that I am more powerful than they are, and I am determined to show them just how unstoppable I can be. One night, I launch my attack. I sneak into the village and begin to feast on the flesh of the villagers once again. But this time, I am more strategic. I attack the weaker villagers first, taking them out one by one before moving on to the stronger ones. The villagers fight back, but I am too powerful for them. I dodge their blows with ease and sink my teeth into their flesh whenever I get the chance. I am a force to be reckoned with, and the villagers are no match for me. But as the night wears on, I can sense that something is different. The villagers have organized themselves better, and they are fighting back with a new level of determination. They are managing to wound me, and I am beginning to feel my strength ebbing away. But even as I feel myself weakening, I cannot stop myself. The hunger within me is too great, and I need to feed. I continue to fight, biting and clawing at anything that comes near me. The villagers are becoming more and more desperate. They know that they need to stop me before I can do any more damage. And so, they organize a search party, determined to find me and put an end to my reign of terror. But I am not afraid. I am more powerful than they are, and I know that I can take them on. I wait for them in the countryside, ready to pounce at a moment's notice. When the search party finally arrives, I launch my attack. I tear through their ranks with ease, feasting on the flesh of the villagers and leaving behind a trail of bloody bones and torn clothes. But the search party is more determined than ever. They fight back with a new level of strength, and I can feel myself weakening. But even as I feel myself slipping away, I cannot stop myself. The hunger within me is too great, and I need to feed. As the sun begins to rise, the search party manages to drive me away. But I know that this is only a temporary setback. The hunger within me is still strong, and I am determined to continue my eternal feast. The villagers are becoming more and more desperate. They know that they need to find a way to stop me before I can do any more damage. But I am not afraid. I am more powerful than they are, and I know that I can take them on. As I roam the countryside, I can feel myself growing stronger with every kill. The hunger within me is never ending, and I need to feed constantly to sustain myself. The villagers are beginning to fear me, and they are doing everything in their power to stop me. They have fortified their homes and are arming themselves with weapons. But I am not afraid. I know that I can take them on. I launch my attacks at night, sneaking into the homes of the villagers and feasting on their flesh. The taste is divine, and I cannot get enough. The villagers fight back, but I am too powerful for them. I dodge their blows with ease, tearing off limbs and biting into their flesh whenever I get the chance. The search parties continue to come after me, but I am always one step ahead. I am too fast for them, too powerful. I tear through their ranks with ease, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. The villagers are becoming more and more desperate. They know that they need to find a way to stop me, but they are beginning to realize that it may be impossible. The hunger within me is too great, and I cannot be stopped. As I continue my eternal feast, I can feel myself growing more and more powerful. The taste of human flesh is all-consuming, and I cannot get enough. I am a force to be reckoned with, a monster that cannot be stopped. But even as I revel in my power, I know that it will not last forever. The villagers will continue to come after me, and eventually they may find a way to stop me. But for now, I am unstoppable. I am the eternal hunger, the monster that roams the countryside in search of flesh. And so, I continue my eternal feast, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. The villagers are left to wonder if they will ever be safe from the monster that roams their countryside, and I am left to wonder if there will ever be enough flesh to satisfy my insatiable hunger. As the villagers continue to live in fear of my eternal hunger, I continue to roam the countryside in search of my next meal. But I can sense that something is different. The villagers are growing bolder, and they are beginning to organize themselves in a new way. One night, I launch my attack on a nearby village. But as I make my way through the homes, I can sense that something is different. The villagers are waiting for me, armed and ready to fight back. I fight back with all of my strength, tearing through the ranks of the villagers and feasting on their flesh. But they are stronger than I had anticipated, and I am beginning to feel my strength ebbing away. As I fight, I can feel my hunger growing stronger. I need to feed, but the villagers are fighting back with a new level of determination. I can sense that this may be the end for me. But even as I feel myself slipping away, I cannot stop myself. The hunger within me is too great, and I need to feed. I continue to fight, biting and clawing at anything that comes near me. Finally, the villagers manage to subdue me. They chain me up and prepare to burn me alive. But even as the flames begin to lick at my skin, I cannot stop myself. The hunger within me is too great, and I need to feed. And so, I continue to fight even as the flames consume me. The villagers are left to wonder if they have truly managed to stop me, or if I will rise again to continue my eternal feast. But for now, I am consumed by the hunger, a monster that cannot be stopped.